Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Moosa Cricket Stadium here in Pearland, Texas, for the second match of the day and the final match that we're covering for the group stages. This is between the TCC Kings and the KATY Raiders. The TCC Kings have been inserted to bat by the Raiders, and that is Ryan Bagani at the top of his mark, preparing to bowl to the captain of the TCC Kings, Matthew Trump. First delivery short and hammered away, but there's a fielder out there covering, and we're off and running. Good afternoon, Ishan.
Mr. Bryan. Ryan Bagani bowling to Matthew Trump. Just a little too short, giving Matthew Trump enough time to just slash at it and let it go.
So, given where each of these teams is, who needs to win and what can happen if they win?
KATY Raiders, what they were talking about, I don't know what they were talking about in the dressing room, but they were talking about, I'm guessing they were need to talk about if they win, they move to the finals. If TCC King wins, they move to the finals. So it's your choice to either win or lose.
Exciting 40 overs of cricket ahead of us. This is defended Tanaf Wasi, one of the more imposing figures batting here in the Houston area. Tanaf Wasi. A short conversation with him before the match started, and he was very confident, thinking that in his mind he was set for a big one. So let's hope we don't jinx him, but he's a really exciting young cricketer. Well, these are all young cricketers, but really exciting, and he'll be looking to do something special today. This is Ryan Bagani again, and this is played into the offside. Tanaf Wasi is off the mark with a single.
Absolutely, Brian. Wasi playing well. Matthew Trump had a big one last week, actually, and Tanaf Wasi hasn't been done much, but hopefully he can do some today.
Matthew Trump feeling just a touch under the weather, having a conversation with his father, Brett, before we started, but he has put all of that aside as any good sportsman does. He forgets, or at least for the moment, ignores whatever his physical ailments are when the job is grabbing your team by the scruff of your neck and dragging them to where you need for them to be. So a great cricketer. Of course, this morning we saw his brother, Josh Trump. Matthew, more of an all-rounder. Josh Moore, an out-and-out wicket-keeper batter. Oh, look at this shot. Tanaf Wasi gets it onto his pads and whips it away over backward square for the first four of the innings.
What a shot. Ryan Bagani just being a little too straight with it. Ryan Bagani being a little too straight with it and letting Wasi just he's trying to wrap it on his pads. Let's Wasi just flick it for a one bounce four.
So your control of line and length is so important. We're obviously inside the power play, so a change made. So there's a fielder now going in the exact same direction where that last shot went, and that's defended into the covers. I don't like necessarily, as that ends the over with that dot ball, I don't like necessarily setting that fielder deep behind square unless you are specifically going to try to bowl a short ball to try to get him to top edge it. If you're setting him there just because you're afraid that the bowler may stray down leg again and whip it away over square or behind square, the solution is not to put a fielder there. The solution is to have your bowler bowl the proper line, which should be on off stump or outside of off. So something to think about. Ryan Bagani, 5 out of those 6 balls, I think, were in the right area. That last, or the 5th ball, was a little too straight. So it's going to be Sean Jindal to pick up the attack, bowling from the Pearland end. Left arm orthodox, and he'll be bowling around the wicket to Matthew Trump.
Yeah, I mean, Sean did well. Sean did okay in the last game. Then that, but bowled spectacular. Let's see if Sean can come back again and bowl. Let's see if he can take Josh, because last time Josh got caught by Aryan Satish with a hairline fracture. But let's just see what Sean can do.
Well, the two fielders outside the circle are down at long on and long off. So if he's able to pierce the gap on the offside, and that wasn't necessarily piercing the gap, but a misfield that led to a single. So you're going to, if you are Sean Jindal, want to bowl relatively full and relatively straight. You don't want it to be anything short where he can play you off the back foot because there's no protection in the deep on either side. So you're going to want the batters hitting down the ground, and that's something to pay attention to. The right lines and the right lengths are very important in most instances, but particularly now. This is a thick outside edge. Tanafwasi would have been gone had there been a slip in position, but with no slip. By the way, there is no slip in position, so that tells me that they're being a little bit more conservative than they potentially could be. In the second over of the innings, with an orthodox left-arm spinner bowling to two right-handers, you would think a slip could be in position there. This is crashed away through the offside. This will have the legs to get to the boundary, and it gets there now. So Matthew Trump going onto the back foot, helping himself to 4 runs through backward point.
Great shot by Matt. Hopefully Sean can pitch it up more, because if Sean doesn't pitch it up, Matt is gonna just swing at it and it can go out of the park.
You're right, and more to the point, the protection in the deep is straight, so he's going to want to bowl full. Oh, that's a good piece of fielding to his own bowling. This one he fired through a lot more quickly. No air given on that occasion, just pushing it through much quicker and flatter. Trump getting it going straight down the wicket. That could have been there for a single, but it was well fielded by the bowler. It gets too wide again, but this time there's good protection, or gets it in the right direction. It's played through the offside for a single. Appeal for a run out. Not there. So relatively positive start by this opening pair, Matthew Trump and Tanafwasi. Scoring right now at the rate of 7.64 with 1 ball remaining in the over.
I mean, that was a little risky, but fielding should have been better on the fielding side. Batting side a little risky, but easy done. And that's the end of the over. 14 and for 2 in 2 for no loss.
Ryan Bagani to continue bowling his second over, the third over of the innings, operating from the Massey Ranch road end. Full driven to mid-on. Boy, shy at the stumps there. Matthew Trump maybe just a little slow getting off the mark, but able to get to the other end without much trouble.
Close there. That was close. Looks like Matthew Trump and Tanafwasi trying to get to a good start, but it's not. I don't think Raiders are gonna let that happen easily.
Tanafwasi just defending that one into the backward point area for no run. Tanafwasi 6 from 7. Matthew Trump 9 from 7. Each of them with a boundary. And Ryan Bagani, 1 over bowled, 8 balls bowled, and conceded 8 runs.
I'm guessing Ryan is wants the ball shined, but also I'm pretty sure he's gonna be thinking now, how can I do this? How can I get these two partnership or a good of a pair out?
Short of a length, but the width was not there. Tanafwasi forcing it into the offside for a single. So you've seen Tanafwasi bat for, I'm assuming, a long time. What are your thoughts about him as a batter?
He's a good batter, but sometimes he can be reckless with it, and sometimes he can just like get out by swinging or just giving his wicket by doing something stupid.
Matthew Trump now under edging it, not able to pierce the offside field. So good over in progress for Ryan Bagani. First over went for 7, and in that 7, that included a 4 that went down to deep backward square. Here, conceded only 2 runs so far with 2 balls remaining. This is in the air and gone. Look at that catch. That is a spectacular catch, taking a backward point. Matthew Trump throwing the kitchen sink at that one, but only succeeding in finding backward point. It goes straight to him, and the first wicket falls. Ryan Bagani taking a wicket in his second over. The score is 16 for 1.
Well, that was a blinder of a catch. I think that was Darshan, if I'm not wrong, taking that catch. That was definitely a blinder to see the back of Matthew Trump. It's never going to be easy when somebody who's hitting at brute pace and you putting your hand in the middle and picking that catch. Okay, that brings TCC to 16 for the loss of 1 wicket. Ryan drawing first blood, I would say.
Absolutely. So Tanafwasi opening the batting along with Captain Matthew Trump. Tanafwasi is now going to have to take the bull by the horns. You would think the new batter is Severe Gudipati. 16 for 1. He comes in at the fall of the first wicket. He will be facing 1 delivery here in this over, the third in progress. And the TCC Kings were off to a relatively decent start, but they are going to have to recover from the loss of their captain. It's always not only an actual blow, but a psychological blow when the captain who's opening the batting gets out. As I've said a number of times in this tournament, sometimes we refer to it as cutting the head off the snake. Down the leg side and 2 straight. Played away very nicely toward deep backward square, and they'll jog through for 2 runs. That 2 brings the total to 18. A successful over for Ryan Bagani at the end of 3. The score is 18 for 1.
Looks like Wussie's when he was talking to you is true, because Trump got out for 9, and looks like Wussie has to play a big role in this game, or else KATY Raiders have an easy job to the final.
So tell me your thoughts. I asked you this earlier, and maybe also we can get Mr. Ramji to chime in. It will be interesting to know what the different permutations are, what needs to happen in this match for each team. First, I'll ask you, and then I'll ask Mr. Ramji the same question.
Well, both of the teams need to win to go to the finals. That's all that needs to be said, and that's all that needs to be done.
So win and you're in. Ramji, any expansion on that thought?
Okay. He made it very look very simple with that.
Yes.
Actually, it's a little complex than what we see at this point, because the number 1 and number 3 are playing in Moosa. Number 2 and number 4 are playing in Balkis at this point. So, interesting scenario now is if KATY Raiders, who are number 1, and Skywalkers, who are number 2, they win their respective games, it's a straightforward equation. Both go into the finals. If Kings win against Raiders, they also come on par with Raiders and Skywalkers in terms of their points. And if Challengers win against Skywalkers, they all four get 18 points. And then that drives it to the net run rate. The top two net run rate teams go to the finals. So scenario number 3 is either Kings
Goodness.
or Challengers win, the other one loses. Then you have a three-way tie. Again, there is going to be net run rate coming into play. So there is a different scenarios that can be possible. Just as this morning game, no one expected Challengers pulling off a surprise win against KATY Raiders that threw the entire tournament open for all 4 teams. Now, every single team has a shot at the finals, except that the challenge for Kings and Challengers are they just don't have to win; they have to win big. But unlike Skywalkers and Raiders, if they win, they are through to the finals.
That's why I'm glad that people like you exist and people like me can just sit back and look cute and and take credit when something good happens. That's a well-flighted delivery. The last ball of the over, bowled by Sean Jindal. Good-looking delivery for the left armer, spinning it away from the right-handed batter. That would have been Severe Goodipati. 4 overs up. Score is 23 for 1.
Yeah, that was a great over by Sean Jindal. Just flighted it through the air and let the surface grip on the ball. And Darshan's catch was a great catch on Matt. There's nothing that could be better than taking the captain and taking one of their best batsmen. Just it would be satisfying for yourself and good for the team.
100% I agree with you. So this is Ryan Bagani to continue. In the air over the top of mid-on. And that was struck with power by Tanaf Wasi. Once again, we don't want to ever run the risk of jinxing anyone, but Tanaf Wasi looking really good to start out his innings. 16 from 12 so far. And for Tanaf Wasi, if it's full, if it's in the slot, he has the capability of drilling it. And he's more than capable of clearing this fence. And that's what I want to see in his game. Just make sure that if the bad ball is there, that you put it away. But also what comes after. And I think it was Brett Trump, Matthew and Josh Trump's father last week, who said the most dangerous ball in cricket is the one after a boundary. And that's the type of delivery that Tanaf Wasi has gotten in trouble with in the past. Good to see him handling it and defending it well on that occasion. Next ball, advancing down the wicket, gets it past mid-wicket. That's a good diving stop by mid-on. And so only limiting the damage that time to 1 run.
So good fielding by Sahar Swetan. Just came in from a flight actually. So that's good to see that he's all pumped up and ready to go and ready to win for his team.
Sahar Swetan, if I'm not mistaken, from the North Carolina area.
Yes, Morrisville.
Morrisville. Fair looking stadium there. Don't know if you all have been there. Fantastic stadium. And not just the stadium, the environment, the atmosphere. I think if in many ways, if not the actual home of cricket in the US, at least the spiritual home of cricket. Short of length and sort of played into the extra cover area for no run.
The home of cricket is Texas. That's where the most cricket is played. That's where the most cricket is played in the U.S.
I'm not going to argue with that statement, being a Texan myself, or at least as far as cricketing locations are concerned. Slower delivery, well bowled, and well defended also by Severe Goodipati. Now, there is a difference between being the home of cricket in terms of where a lot of cricket is played and home of cricket in terms of atmosphere. I would certainly give the edge to Texas in terms of where cricket is played, the amount of cricket. Prairie View, obviously, only facility I know that has that many natural turf wickets to play on. But just for sheer excitement and fans coming in to watch the game, I don't think you do better than Morrisville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if this were in Morrisville, right now there are everybody who's walking around here is connected in some way to this tournament,
Yeah.
whether a commentator or player or a groundskeeper or some other connection. If this were Morrisville, there would have been at least a few hundred people here watching right now.
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
You're right.
Of course, I'm right. That's a silly statement.
But here we go. Third over from Sean. I can't believe they're bowling him 3 overs, but I mean he bowled good. And let's see. Oh, Ron.
Lofted in the air, just over the top. That might have to count as a drop. It's going to go for 4. Struck with power by Tanafwasi, but extra cover was in with a chance that very much could have been a catch.
Hard one.
Off of the fingertips, it looks like.
Hard one at that, because Tanafwasi hitting with power, it's going to be hard for anybody just to catch that.
Tanafwasi, I mentioned earlier, is a very strong young man. 6 feet tall. He told me that he weighs more than he wants to weigh right now, but he's over 200 pounds. But he strikes the ball very fearsomely. And I'll tell you that even though he looks like he wants to lose weight from what he said, but he used all of his power, all of his heft to drive that ball. And had that been caught, it would have taken some catching at extra cover. There's no question. But at the end of all of that, a 4 followed by a single, so he's definitely off to the races. So the third over on the trot given to Sean Jindal. This is the last over of the power play. In the air and over the top of mid-on. That's going to run away for 4 more. So it looks like Suvir is getting in on the action. And let's just get caught up with what's going on the other ground.
Okay, so the game at Balkis between Skywalkers and Challengers seemingly have started off in a very, very interesting fashion. Just as Kings lost Matthew Trump in the beginning, within the power play, Skywalkers put into bat have lost their man of the match from this morning, Arjun Mahesh, bowled Anirudh Boliseti for just 2 runs. So that brings in Rishi Ramesh and Rahul Basu in the middle. They are 20 for the loss of 1 wicket in their 5th over.
Look at this. Tanafwasi with a late cut. That's not I've never seen him play that one.
That's a good shot by Wasi. He rarely ever plays the late cuts. He always likes to play in front of the wicket or sweep, or maybe even scoop at times.
Struck in the air. There's a man sweeping out there in the covers, though. And so just a single. And that single is or represents the end of the over. Also the end of the power play. So 6 up. The score is 41 for 1.
And I, Ishan Mapani, will be signing off for today. Bye.
Ishan, thank you very much for your fantastic contributions. And we will see you tomorrow. Excellent. See you tomorrow. Very, very well done.
Yeah, Ishan, it's always a pleasure having you here at the commentary box. Hope to see you tomorrow again. Back to the game. there's a bowling change apparently, or yes, Ryan has chosen to take a break from his bowling spell, and the ball has been handed over to. Is that who's the bowler right now? Is it Abiram Irua or
That is Sumyak Shah.
Somyak Shah? Wow, what an interesting move by the Raiders, bringing in Somyak Shah, who just is playing the second game of this tournament. The ball is being handed over to Somyak Shah. A very interesting move. I'm pretty sure Raiders have a calculated strategy in every game that they get into. So this must be a calculated strategy as well.
Well, I'm assuming he's an off spinner because it's a very leg side dominant field. There's a long on, the deep mid wicket, and a square leg. Actually, a long on, a cow corner, and a deep mid wicket. Put it that way. And you're expecting, based on this field, for the ball to be bowled in such a way that tempts the batters to hit toward this side on the leg side.
More on the cow corner region.
Oy.
Yeah.
Tossed up. In fact, looking at the release point, it appears that he's bowling leg spin. So maybe the defensive field is set not so much for where the ball will be turning, but potentially to assist him with being able to land the ball in the right areas. In other words, that first delivery was very full. In fact, it was a full toss.
Low full toss. Yeah, that brings back Wasi in strike. Wasi just dabs the ball towards long on for a quick single.
So you said it was an interesting move, a strategic move to bring Sumyak Shah on. Tell me why.
So he hasn't played the first 4 games of last week. He just came in he played his first game this morning, and I don't recollect that he even bowled in that game. So given the fact that he's been given the ball right now, right after the power play is over, and the ball is still new, the batters are kind of set there, especially Tanaf Wasi. It could be a strategic move to give the ball to Sumyak Shah, forcing the batter to make some errors in their shot selection.
So if you have an out-and-out strike bowler like Ryan Bagani, who bowls 3 overs up top, and then you shift bowling and go to somebody who is, let's say, a part-timer like Sumyak Shah, sometimes that little letdown in concentration is all that the bowling side needs to have the batting side make a mistake.
Absolutely. And then also you're taking away the pace from the ball, and the ball is still new. Remember, there is no dew, right? It's peak sun. So that is going to be a wide.
I'll tell you what, it's a wide. It was almost a no ball. In fact, that might be what the umpires are talking about right now.
About it. So it's not a
wide. It is a no ball, I think. Yep.
Yeah.
That ball bounced twice before it got to the keeper. And pretty much, or before it got to the batter, rather. And so, for you young cricketers, not everybody knows that rule. If the ball bounces twice before it gets to the batter, it's a no ball. Oh, look at this. Tanaf Wasi wanting to overhit that one. I think if he plays a normal cricket shot there, it comes probably banging off of the glass right here in front of us. As it is, it's just a thick outside edge. And all of that action results in just a single. So amazing that a handful of activities in that inning and that over only results in 7 runs being scored. And at the end of 7, the score is 48 for 1.
To me, that was a good free hit wasted. It should have been connected very comfortably for someone of the caliber of Tanaf Wasi and deposited over the boundary ropes for a very, very comfortable 6. He just mistimed it, probably took his eyes off the ball for a second and went a tiny bit out of shape when he went for the shot. and mistiming it, took the thick edge outside edge, and just managed, had to be contented with a single.
I'm actually surprised that he didn't use his feet to try to get to the pitch. Obviously, you cannot be stumped on a free hit. So maybe just a break in or a lapse in concentration there by Tanafwasi, because that certainly was a ball that you would think would have more scoring options than what he did end up getting off of it.
Believe so. So again, there is a bowling change from the Pearland end. They're bringing in Darshan Haribabu to bowl from that end. Seeing that the spin is actually putting some brakes on the scoring, trying to bring in spinners from operate spinners from both ends.
So Tanafwasi now up to 26 from 22.
Okay, back to our famous question. Where do you see TCC Kings finishing at the end of 20 overs, given the current run rate?
Well, the current run rate of 6.68 gets them, in fact, with that dot ball, the run rate is now 6.53. That gets them to 131. I think they're looking for much more than that. I hate to give you a political answer. I really do. It's not overstating it to say that much of what happens from here has to do with how long Tanafwasi bats for. So let's say Tanafwasi bats through the 12th over. He's the type of batter, as an appeal for LBW is not given by umpire Sujit Gupta. If Tanafwasi bats through the 12th over, then he's probably clear of 50.
Yeah.
They've also probably used their best bowlers trying to get him out. So there's options there for the batters who come after him to capitalize on what at that stage I think would be not the best bowling attack, provided that they would have bowled some of their better bowlers up top. And this is struck in the air towards the gap, deep mid-wicket. That's probably at least two. Nope, in fact, they only get one. That's interesting. Now, that's a very long political answer. But if you're asking to nail me down on a number, my number is 147.
Wow, that's an interesting number that you're. Yeah, that kind of lands somewhere between 145 and 150. What I said this morning.
Uh-huh.
And
no, I didn't guess that just because that was your guess.
Yeah, and I guess, yeah, as you rightly said, if Vasi has to carry the innings along at least through the 12th or the 13th, 14 overs and get past the 50, and he should be well set, seeing the ball like the soccer ball, going after every single bowler, you are definitely looking at score in excess of 145, definitely. But given the bowling depth that KATY Raiders have, and capable of putting off unusual upsets like this game, bringing in Sumyak Shah, and then a couple of games ago during the last weekend, we had Arya Kanata coming in and rolling his arm
yes.
and getting 3 wickets in one of the games. So Raiders are known for those surprises. My best case scenario, once again, there's going to be a no ball from the bowler and a free hit. Is Suvir Goodipati going to make good use of this free hit?
I guarantee you he is. He's going to come charging down. You'd have to think.
That's a full toss, not well connected, probably all the way up in the bat, around the sticker area, I would say. Just satisfied with a single, just like his partner, Tanafwasi, did.
Wow. So I think it's clear that Sumyak Shah is a change bowler, a part-time bowler. This is whipped away over backward square. Does not, in fact, it may just have the legs to get to the boundary. No, it stops right ahead. Wow. They're going to run 2, and that's all that they'll run for.
Yeah, the ball just got tired and stopped, waited for the fielder to come pick me.
Now, I have to say this. A couple of times there have been occasions where the Kings have had the opportunity to run for runs and they sort of chose not to. Oh my goodness, another no
Another
ball.
no ball.
Oh, this is a little painful because these are deliveries that present scoring opportunities. This time, I don't think Tanaf Wasi is going to waste an opportunity to score big.
I would not speak too soon.
Ah!
This time is going directly into the hands of the fielder at deep mid wicket. Once again, is just a single. Yeah, but then I think that this
Amazing that he's
delivery.
bowled 3 no balls and given up 3 singles on free hits.
Absolutely. I mean, that's probably another dubious record.
Yes.
Yeah. And this time the ball kept so low did not give the elevation for the batter to free up his arms and go for a big glory shot, right? So
Wow.
that was, I would say, give the benefit to the bowler, keeping that he was able to keep the batter silent.
Mm-hmm. Full toss. That may be a no ball also. There's the signal.
Is that a no
Goes
ball?
for 4. It's a no ball on height. You see the signal coming from the square leg umpire Sujit Gupta and then confirmed by umpire Altaf Mahesania. And boy,
Boy,
Sumyak Shah is having a bit of a shocker.
another free hit coming the Raiders' way, or the Kings' way, I would say. The Kings' way. Are they going to capitalize on it?
Struck down the ground and a good piece of fielding. Oh, Captain Arikananta.
Did he get on the ropes? Did he get on the ropes when he collected the ball? No, I think there was a little bit of whoa out there in the ground, but then yeah, he was clean. He was clean. So that was definitely an expensive over, but the gamble that Raiders took with bringing in a change bowler did not quite work out the way they wanted it to be.
But if you think about it, 12 runs came from that over, an over that had 3 no balls and 3 free hits.
And 3 singles from those 3 free hits.
Oh my goodness. So that is, you said it earlier. That must be some sort of record. I've never seen any over that has that many no balls with the free hits that only went for 12 runs. So
But
while you don't like giving up 12 runs, you have to say that he's done well to come back from those mistakes.
I would say he has delivered those free hit deliveries very, very well and not giving away making more damage. And I think that's where we have to give the credit to him. That brings back Darshan Haribabu from the Pearland end.
So all we need to get him to do is to bowl the non-free hit deliveries as well as he bowls the free hit ones. My goodness. Gone! One of the more strange dismissals that you'll ever see. It was a huge swipe being attempted by Tanaf Wasi. The bat flew out of his hand and went to square leg, but somewhere in all of that, that ball came off the edge of the bat. Or was it LBW?
I felt it was LBW. The ball was
LBW.
probably right there in front of the batter at the end of all these sequence of events. So it looked to me that it was actually leg before. Yes, it is leg before. The scorers
Leg
confirmed
before
that.
wicket.
So the bat was brought into play much before the ball could come in. Bat slipped out of Vasi's hand, flew all the way to the leg umpire. And ball found no security. The ball did not find any security for any checks whatsoever, going straight head-on collision with his pads, and Tanaf Vasi had to go walk back to the dugout, truly mad at himself on how he just lost control on that bat. It was a ball that was meant to be hit. He should have connected it. He mistimed it, let go of his bat, and his writing was on the wall. So that brings KATY Raiders back into the game once again, taking a prize wicket of Tanaf Wasi, and TCC Kings are 64 for the loss of 2 wickets. While we get ready for the next pair to be settling in, let's see what's happening on the other ground with Skywalkers and Challengers. Skywalkers lose their second wicket in the form of Rahul Basu, who was building a very good innings in the last weekend games. He was out for a well-paced 17 of 19, stumped Joshua Trump from the bowling of Rith Hinge. The score is 40 for a loss of 2 wickets in 7 overs. So both the games interestingly poised. Remember, this seems at this point that Kings and Kings are, I would say, on even heel with the Raiders in terms of this particular game is concerned. They have runs on the board, but they lost 2 wickets. That brings in Aman Kotari in the middle, together with Suvir Gudipati. Aman starts off the block with a single. Darshan Haribabu bowling pretty much wicket to wicket, not giving any width whatsoever for the batter to free his arms. Suvir wanted to go for the shot, last moment decided against it and let the ball go. That was a very, very tidy second over from Darshan Haribabu, just giving away 2 runs and also affecting the dismissal of Tanaf Wasi leg before.
So, halfway through the innings, the score is 65 for 2. I don't know that I've ever watched a match that has had so many things going on in it. Or not necessarily a match, but just from the coverage today. Seeing the ball hit the helmet, seeing a number of no balls where the ball bounced more than once, seeing a bunch of those no balls that the free hits only went for singles, and now seeing the bat fly out of probably your biggest hitter's hand and ending up all the way down at the square leg umpire. So many different things going on. It all adds up to a very exciting day's worth of cricket.
Wow, that makes a change in the pavilion, and that brings in Aditya Ayyappan to the attack. He's a very good fast bowler. Just moved in a few months ago and has been very consistent in his bowling. The ball just kept low, out of reach of the batter. So it's an interesting ploy once again to switch back to the Pacers. Done with the quota of spinners and now back to the Pacers.
Aditya's built like a fast bowler, isn't he?
Absolutely, really long legs, and then he's able to hit the deck hard. That should be 2 runs. Batter guiding the ball in the towards the cow corner region for a well-made 2 runs.
So you asked me the question about predicted score. Current scoring rate is 6.48. At that rate, the projected score is 130. Good delivery. Yorker length, right in the block hole, defended into the covers for no run.
Yeah.
So 6.48 gets them to 130. They score at the rate of 8 and over. From here, they get to 144. If for some reason they're able to get up to 10 runs and over, they get to 164.
Interesting. So the target, in my mind, is somewhere between 135 and 145 is what I'm looking at is as a possible outcome from this. And talking of Yorkers, I mean there are very few Yorkers that I have seen at least bowled in this particular season of the
Hmm.
tournament. This was one of them, nailing it perfectly.
Oh,
One more coming your way there. Aditya, the Yorker King, coming in one after the other, nailing the Yorkers, making the life miserable for the batter.
so a Yorker is not an easy delivery to bowl. If you miss it short, then it's a half volley and it can be hit over the stands. If it's too full, then it's a full toss, and those are easier to score off of also. And that's another three Yorkers on the trot. All three, I think, bowled as well as you can bowl a Yorker. This one goes for a single, but that's good bowling here by Aditya Ayapan. Really good looking fast bowler for me. And that is the end of the over. At the end of 11, the score is 68 for 2.
A very good over to begin with. Aditya's just giving away 3 runs from this over, nailing 4 dot balls, which is very, very good beginning to his spell. So, are they continuing with Darshan? Yes, they are from the Pearland end. Darshan has been phenomenal in this tournament. He was pretty silent when it came to bowling at the start of this tournament, but as his usual self, he has been very silently more climbing up the ladder, and he is now placed number 2 in the overall wickets list, wicket takers list, just behind Yash Patel. He's with 6 wickets from as many games, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether he can get past Yash Patel or is Yash Patel going to get past him. Was that a wicket? There is an appeal from the keeper.
Umpire is
The
not
umpire,
going to give it.
the keeper seemed to be a little delayed in his appeal, and then once he started, we see the rest of the field joining him.
So I really hate to disagree with you. The keeper went up immediately, and he only got more animated when he saw that the umpire wasn't giving it.
Exactly. The body language changed when the
Yes.
umpire did not move a bit.
Yes. But they were sure that it was an edge, but again, the only person whose opinion matters is the umpire. The ball is cut into the
Well
covers for
struck.
no run. So I have to say that both umpires, Altaf Mahisania and Sujit Gupta, have done well managing the game. Obviously, we're way too far away to know whether or not that was an edge, but I have full confidence in both umpires, and this is a
Yes.
sweep.
Okay.
Appeared to have been close to the stumps, but I think umpire Gupta there signaling that might have gone down, or might have been slipping down leg.
I was quick and flat, and wasn't sure if that should have been gone for a sweep shot rather than playing it straight.
Yes.
He's living dangerously there. This time he's going over the bowler's head for a quick single.
So just 2 balls remaining, like that 1 ball remaining here in the 12th. And this is a thick inside edge that runs down towards short fine leg. They're coming back for 2. The running, I do have to say, has not been very assured from the TCC Kings. An area for them to potentially look to improve as they move forward. But 2 runs to the total at the end of 12. The score is 71 for 2.
Yeah, there was a bit of hesitation on should we go for the second or not. The batter were looking at each other, looking at the direction where the ball was going, and then decided, okay, let's take the risk, right? And it was a risk worth taken. Yeah, it could have been a very comfortable 2 runs had they started off the blocks right away after completing the first one. Yeah, this also shows how often do you play with your partner in a normal domestic league, and how is your communication skills and how much you talk and communicate on when you're 3/4 the way on your first run. One of you definitely has a better view of the ball where it is, and you can actually give a call on whether there's going to be a second or not.
think you're right. It's built into the idea of having franchise-based tournaments like this, where a lot of these youngsters would not have been playing with each other for any length of time. Sometimes no more than the amount of time that they've been assigned to the same team in this tournament. So a long way to go for them to get to the understanding of how each of them operates and how they sort of judge their runs. Look at this. Both of them
That
are
is
at
going to
the
be suicidal.
same end.
It's
So exactly the point that we were just making. No communication between those two, and they were both at the same end, both at the keeper's end. Had that ball been collected and not been fumbled in the covers, that would have been the easiest run out that we've seen all day.
yeah. I think both teams have to be blamed for
Yes.
miscommunication and misfielding.
Mhm. Wow.
One complemented the other.
Right.
Is this going to be, just taking a shy on the stumps, missing it by a few inches?
If that is a direct hit, he's also gone. Boy.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, I don't know exactly how to characterize it. It's built into the equation, as we mentioned, but a lot of this is going to come down to just proper communication, and they're not exactly getting it right. More confident looking stroke this time, driven wide of extra cover, and they'll get easily 2 runs.
Yeah. And the ball definitely was not struck firmly, so was sure that the ball is not going to carry on to the boundary. This over also saw Aditya bowling Yorker number 4 of his spell for this game. I would say that's the most Yorkers by one person so far that I've seen in this tournament. Most of them trying to bowl either fuller or wide Yorkers, but Aditya was getting it, nailing it, ball after ball.
Well, 1 ball remaining, 74 for 2. And I think you've seen a high level of skill being exhibited here by Aditya. There's the Yorker again and struck into the extra cover area for no run. That's the end of 13. And Ramji, we happen to be joined here in the commentators area by Royalty. It's going to be, for me, the best combination of cricket father and commentator that you can find anywhere in the country. Mr. Shwetan, good afternoon.
Welcome, Shwetan.
Oh, I'm overwhelmed by everything that you said, Brian, and also the quality of cricket. How beautifully is this tournament poised? We're taking a break here. It's an excellent tournament. We've all seen this for the last couple of years. And every time you think that something is happening one-sided, it just turns on its head, and we are beautifully poised. We're not certain who's going to make it to the finals as yet. We're, halfway done in the first innings of this last game in both the grounds.
Absolutely, Shwetan, you nailed it there. I would say this morning, with the game, the way the game was going on, especially in the chase between Challengers and KATY Raiders, it looked as though Challengers will be done and dusted after that game. But lo and behold, Challengers came back, rose from the fire like the phoenix bird, and knocking the KATY Raiders off and keeping the tournament open completely.
Yeah, possibly one of the best ever comebacks of HYPL history. I've seen most of the games, barring a few, but this one and one last year, I think it was between Supernovas and I don't know which team it was, but it was another brilliant comeback of sorts. In that occasion, Supernovas succumbing, unable to chase 4 runs in the last over with about 5 wickets in hand. And this one went to the wire. For the most part, it was with the KATY Raiders, but then it wasn't to be won by them.
We've seen all elements of a T20 game, and so far we've seen big totals in excess of 190. We've seen small totals under 100. We've seen teams batting first winning and teams batting second winning. So it's been a good mix all over so far. one thing that I would love to see. Of course, if I say this, the teams are not going to like it. What I would love to see would be a super over, which we have seen in the past editions, where the teams, especially I think it was on for the third place game on the final day, there was a super over, and then the winner was decided through a super over. So that is one thing that I'm missing here. Probably the other small thing, which I don't know if that would happen, would be a hat trick.
Well, we have 4 games to be completed in this edition of HYPL. I'm not saying your wish must come true, but it can always do. How will it be if it happens in the final? It'll be a great spectacle for a wonderful tournament to have a super over in the final. It happened in the 2019 World Cup, England versus New Zealand. It can happen here.
Exactly. That will be a fitting finale, I would say. While we get back into this game, let's quickly go through what's happening with the Skywalkers and Challengers. Skywalkers, after winning by 10 wickets this morning, have ran out of steam. Looks like they are 5 wickets down, 50 for the loss of 5 wickets in the 10th over, courtesy Aaron Nadkarni, who's been nailing his pace bowling to good use, and he's got 3 wickets. He's bowling his third over, 1 maiden, 8 runs and 3 wickets. So they still have Rishi Ramesh, their lighthouse, I would say, standing there tall and holding one end while the wickets are falling on the other end in a heap.
Absolutely. It's been a tournament where you could never say that one team has been constantly on the upward, on the curve or anything of that sort. Suddenly you see a team doing really well and then they get pulled down by another team from nowhere. So that has kept the table really stable.
I would say. Yeah, I would say actually really dynamic. So interesting. Challengers riding on the back of this morning's victory are completely pumped up, I would say, and that is reflecting on the way they are bowling. Their team, their fielders are working out. That was a very, very smart piece of batting here in the Moosa ground between Kings and Raiders.
Yeah, the running between the wickets has been a bit of a comedy since the KATY Raiders started all the events, and it's continuing into this game. The running between the wickets between the TCC Kings hasn't been all that good either.
Yeah,
Hasn't been any run out so far, but there were opportunities aplenty.
Yeah, I would agree. This morning saw 5 runouts on this very ground, and then so far we have seen at least 2 or 3 wrong calls or half calls running for a single yes no kind of situation. One scenario we had both the batters at one end. Yeah, it is definitely an area that the coaches and the players themselves have to look out for and work on it.
Also, Gudi Party has moved on to 28 of 31 quietly. Hit a couple of lusty blows. That one is over cover, kept his shape, hit over the infield. Have to find out if it has enough legs. It does cross the boundary. Trickles down there. It's a beautiful shot. Moves on to 32. Not the most renowned of batters on this lineup based on the 4 or 5 games that I've seen of TCC Kings. But has taken it on him after the dismissal of both the key opening batters,
Tanafwasi and Matthew Tromp.
Oh, another scoop shot there. He started doing this more consistently now. Has been fairly successful. Missed on a couple of occasions, but has connected a few times. And every time he did that, he's got at least a couple of runs. So
Yeah.
he's making it move the scorecard. They have scored 88 of 2 for 2 at the end of 14 overs.
Once again, there was a bit of a fumble after taking the 2 runs, knowing that the ball was already in the fielder's hand, the batter trying to take off for the 3rd run. Darshan completes his quota of 4 overs, 1 for 22. So while we were talking about Darshan and Yash Patel fighting for the top spot, somebody else sneaked through in the gaps, and that was Arun Nadkarni on the back of the 3 wickets that he has taken so far in the ongoing game. He's sitting comfortably on top of the leaderboard of the highest wicket takers at 9 wickets.
88 for 2 at the end of 14.16 overs to go. If they can get to 130, 140, it can be a tricky game because this pitch was used in the morning. These wickets do get slower and lower as more games are played, wear and tear. That's why I was personally surprised with the decision of bowling first. The KT Raiders winning the toss and deciding to bowl first, probably because of what Matthew Trump did the last time these two teams met. He single-handedly chased a huge target of 170 plus down. Maybe that affected the decision of the KT Raiders. Whether it's going to help them win the game or not is to be seen.
Yeah, it was an interesting move by the captain at the toss. Yeah, but then I would have to say the pitch has held pretty much well compared to how it was last week. We've seen a lot of cracks or the top surface pulling out or peeling out last week during the game. But luckily, those were not in the danger area or in the pitching areas. But today we see that the pitch is still holding its shape pretty well from morning, and it's probably going to be a good even contest between the batter and the bowler.
Yeah, the other way of looking at it is the strength. I think the KT Raiders, their strength is in their batting lineup. Is there a chance? That's a definite chance there. Once again, a run-out opportunity presents itself, but not to be taken. The fielder at mid-on shying at the stumps but missing it.
Yeah, the batter stranded midway, not knowing whether he have to run back to the non-striker end. Aditya this time trying different things instead of his strength, which was the Yorkers that he was nailing in the last few overs. He bowled a couple of short ones. This time he bowled a slower, low full toss.
It's such a sorrow to see such communication failure in the age of technology. There's been total communication breakdown on a couple of occasions in this innings. Once again, trying to move across and play the scoop shot over the infield, missing it altogether. End of over number 15. The TCC Kings are 91 for the loss of 2 wickets. Aman 9 of 22, and Suveer 35 of 35.
That looks like an interesting move being done by the dugout in terms of retiring one of their batter and bringing in another batter. There's some discussion going on with the umpire here.
I do believe that if it's not because of an injury on field, the batsman might be declared retired out here.
Which will be the case. If he is retired injured, he has the opportunity to come back later on in the innings and then come and play. Whereas now it appears that the batter has been retired out.
There was so much confusion. I hope the batters didn't confuse themselves and retire the one who's been scoring well. It is, in fact, Aman, who's been the slow scorer so far, 9 of 22, has been asked to come off.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a shame, but that's how the game goes. The demands of these shorter tournaments or the shorter format tournaments. And for the KT Raiders, it is Shiv Shani who's coming into bowl.
That quick roundup of the game that's happening at Valky's. Skywalkers losing their plot completely, losing their 6th wicket now. this time in the form of Tarun Paul getting run out to Aryan. Aryan getting involved in 4 out of the 6 dismissals so far that has happened. 2 were caught and bowled off his own bowling. 1 was bowled, and this time it's run out from Aryan.
And it only opens up the tournament even wider. The challengers were the ones sitting at the bottom of the table with a much lower net run rate in comparison to the others. But if they have a handsome win here, they will definitely knock on that door for a spot in the final. It'll probably come to the result of this game that may well decide. The KATY Riders might be thinking that they have a very good run rate, and even if they were to lose this game, they would make it to the finals. But you can never rule out. Sometimes these mathematics just goes the other way than what you've been thinking all day.
And Skywalker's situation, I would say if they lose big, then it's going to significantly impact their net run rate, and despite having 18 points, they're not going to be very happy about it. So it's a matter of the remaining 9 overs that decides where the Skywalkers will end their innings and post a modest total, at least, for the challengers to chase.
That's a brilliant delivery. Just missed the stumps by a little bit. Might have taken a little bit of the paint off the off stump. Not very sure, but brilliant bowling. Nice length. The scorecard hasn't changed yet. I'm not too sure if the scorers have made the change in the batters.
Because the scorers were probably trying to figure out how to identify a batter as retired out. That was the interesting thing.
Yeah, the new batter is Ajay Prithvi Raj. Should see that reflect on the scorecard. Yeah, there we go. So 92 for 3 in 15 overs. The left armer Shiv Shani bowling. A short of length delivery. Was a little bit of a chance of a run out.
It is.
It becomes. It does. In fact, I didn't pay much attention to.
The non-striker batter actually did not take a start. He was rather ball watching to see whether the bowler is running across and trying to pick the delivery. In the meantime, he found to his dismay that the batter had already got on to his side, and then asking, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing here?"
Yeah, I mean, there was no joy amongst the KATY Raiders either, so it never felt like there was a wicket that had been taken. All said and done, Ajay, who actually replaced Aman, looks like hasn't faced a single ball, but has been run out. Or he has faced 2 balls, in fact.
Yeah, once again throws the spotlight on the effective communication between the batters and the number of dismissals, run-out dismissals this tournament. I'll be surprised, or I would say I would not be surprised if this tournament comes up with the maximum number of run-outs so far in the last 5 seasons.
I want to take a moment and thank the title sponsors, Turmeric India Cuisine and Bar. Thanks to your support, this tournament has progressively made a lot of news amongst the cricketers of the younger generation across the country. And such wonderful facilities and class can only be provided with supporters like you. So thank you, title sponsors, and all the other people who have helped organize and conduct this tournament on each occasion.
Yeah, I think a big shout out also goes to the Moosa Stadium facility for giving some really wonderful grounds and pitches for interesting game of cricket over the last weekend and this weekend. That was really struck by the batter. Did not get enough bat onto it, while not carrying to the fielder in the long off region. However, the batters managed themselves with 2 runs.
So at the end of over number 16, the TCC Kings 95 for the loss of 4 wickets. Shiv Shani just completes his first and has given away only 4. It's interesting to see that he was brought in only in the 16th over. He's definitely not going to be able to bowl his full quota. That means
So goes on to see who bowls the other end. Is that gonna be?
looks like the skipper is bringing himself on. I was surprised that after having bowled well in a couple of games, he did not bowl in the game this morning.
Brian and I were talking about this. KATY Raiders are known to spring in a surprise once in a while, and they did that last weekend by bringing the keeper batter, who's known to be a keeper batter, to roll his arms and get 3 wickets, I would say, in that game. And this morning they tried bowling Sumyak Shah from the pavilion end, couple of overs to put brakes on the batter. And now it's Arya Kanata coming back, taking the ball and delivering it from the pavilion end.
A well-flighted delivery, little too full and also wide, driven to cover for a single. And to be very honest with you, the bowling effort of Arya Kanata in that game against the Challengers last weekend, I don't think it was a surprise. It was more like a last throw of the dice. They were like 150 without a loss, and they had to bring somebody to do something, and it just fell their way, the numbers. So, but after that, the game in the afternoon, he just looked like he was a bowler, and again in the morning he wasn't given an opportunity. Another chance of a run out, a definite chance there. Pranav, beautifully collects it and flicks it back onto the stumps, and there is also a short run. That's been so it's eventually a dot ball with a lot of miles put in.
Oh my God, that was one shot. Lot of drama in the middle. One shot, and then there was whether the batter made his crease or not. It looks like the batter did not land his bat while he was crossing the crease, and he got himself run out. And to top it all, it was the bowler who was running from his position after delivering the ball all the way to mid-wicket region, picking the ball, throwing it to the keeper, ensuring that the batter is out.
Yeah, that was the 10,000 steps for the day, but no run taken.
Who do we have in the middle right now? It's Vihan Mehta who got run out from that mix-up.
Yeah, a
So-
couple of wickets here. The Kings might be thinking if their decision to retire a batsman out was good or not. They now only have 9 wickets, and 5 of them are. Oh, the 5 includes the batsman, I think, who was retired out. I got to go back and check the scorecard.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. But what baffles me is the fact that they haven't brought Shaunak Marathe. They're bringing in Shaunak Marathe so late in the game when you have only like 4 overs left. He's known to be a decent bat and also a good bowler. So he's won some games with his bat as well as with his bowling. So it's an interesting move to see a batter of his caliber being brought in the 17th over of the innings.
Yeah, the TCC Kings either have assumed that they are in the finals already because they are on 18 points or 12 points, or they have. Looks like they think that they don't have a chance or something of that sort. So I'm not very sure about the strategy behind the effort so far. They have moved themselves to 97 for 5. 3 more overs to go. 99 for 5 with that run now taken. Suveer batting on 38 of 38. That was slightly uppish, but straight to the fielder. The sweeper gathers. I think it's Vyas Shriman who throws it back to the bowler. There's no urgency with the bat and a lot of drama running between the wickets. That's been the summary. 100 comes up though at the end of over number 17.
Yeah, I think the plan going forward for TCC Kings is to play out the entire 20 overs to be able to get at least in the next 3 overs probably another 20 runs. So put a modest total of 120. That will be like a runner ball for the KATY Raiders to chase. 20 runs from here would put the total at 120. That would be runner ball for the KATY Raiders to chase.
Shiv Shani bowling a second over just outside off, actually well outside off, and angled it. Goes further away from the batsman, and was an easy decision for the umpire. So the good thing for the TCC Kings is Suvir Gudipati is still at the centre, and he should start accelerating from here. Try to look for those boundaries.
He has a well-made runner ball 39.
Full length delivery, hit straight back over the bowler's head, but there is cover there. Is there a chance of another run out? They come back, and
Excellent fielding there by the fielder at long off, knowing very well he was somewhere close to the boundary rope. He pushed the ball basically in and ensured that he's not overstepping, then coming back to pick the ball and throwing it.
Shiv pitches
That's
that
a
one outside leg, flicks that straight to mid wicket. Easy catch there. That's the fall of wicket number 6, and it is Shaunak Marathe
Yeah.
who could have probably caused some damage down the order, not getting his timing right. Flicks one straight to mid wicket and is dismissed for a mere 2 runs.
Yeah, the fielder at mid wicket did not break a sweat taking the catch. It was just into his hands, waiting to be taken.
All looks so nice and easy for KATY Riders at this point, but you never know. If the previous game was any cue, this game is not over.
Yeah, just a quick update on the game between Skywalkers and Challengers. Skywalkers are 68 for the loss of 6 wickets. They still have another 6 overs to go. They still have the opening batter, Rishi Ramesh, playing at almost a runner ball 38. And with him is Yash Patel on the other end with 2 runs from 5 deliveries.
Shiv Shani there trying to york the batsman, gets the angle a little bit outside leg. The new batter Shaurya flicks one to deep in the long leg region and gets a comfortable 2. Once again, back of length, just outside angled. Tapped to cover for a single. So they are moving slowly, but not getting the momentum that they would need to close this batting inning. Also puts Suvir back on strike. Will he try to go big? You saw that he was playing those scoop shots a few overs ago. There is cover for that. There isn't any cover yet for that. Will he go for a scoop again? No, it was back of length, cut to point. No run taken. There was at least a clear call of a no from the batter.
I think when he was trying the scoop shot, that was off of the spinner, from an off spinner. Now, with the pace that Shiv Shani is bowling, he has probably the line going away from the batter. He's getting the diagonal reach from bowling over the wicket.
Yeah, it's going to make it that much more difficult. A full toss there, fed onto his pads. Hit to deep square leg where there is cover, and a safe and nice return at the end of that. Over number 18, the Kings are 106, slowing down rather drastically.
Anything in the range of 120, 125 from here is probably going to be a reasonable total for them to fight for. Below that is going to be a subpar total, which KATY Raiders technically should be able to sail through without breaking a sweat, unless they make heavy weather out of it, like they did in the morning.
I hope they don't do it twice in a row. That's what the team management and everybody sitting in the dugout will be thinking. If anything, there's a little bit of a bolster in the batting lineup of the KATY Raiders. Sahaj wasn't in the game this morning. We missed our flights and it took forever.
Definitely. I mean, adding Sarge into the mix for the playing 11 actually makes their batting looks really, really solid. Haven't seen much of Sahaj, doing his glove work in this tournament because I think the team also has a bunch of wicket keepers. So Sahaj probably has to be contended fielding out in the outfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And this tournament provides you a lot of opportunity to rub shoulders with the seniors. In this case, Sahaj is happy to be a part of a team where Pranav, Arya, the other senior wicket keepers are playing. I'm sure he'll be picking their brains, learning a thing or two. He did get a little bit of an opportunity in the last game to keep wickets. He did fairly well. Yes, he dropped one catch of the bowling of Ryan Bagani in the very first over, but was also equally up to the task in getting Arjun Mahesh run out. I thought that was one of the better runouts this tournament between Abhiram Yerwa, who had a strong arm from somewhere close to long on all the way to the wicketkeeper. So he's had his fair share of learning, and people come from farther away from states to play in this tournament for that reason. To be able to showcase their potential and also learn from the others.
Yeah. Knowing how good of a runner Arjun is between the wickets, for someone to actually effect a run out of that kind of a batter speaks volume of the reflex that he has as a wicket keeper.
And Nithilan is the new batsman. Gets a single. The shirt says Anish. Yeah, after 4 days of the tournament, nobody knows who's wearing whose shirt. That's too much socialization, I should say. Oh, he moved way too across to the offside. Another run out, definitely on the cards. Oh, a direct hit would have had him. Not too sure what the fielder was doing. He should have been right behind the stumps, gathering it to effect a run out. But there was nobody near the stumps. There was enough opportunity for somebody to get behind the stumps there. But it was Ryan Bagani, one of the senior players of the team, not coming to gather that one.
So Shwetan, this has taken on the feel of almost like a practice match. It feels like the intensity is out of it. Looking big, a quick sort of under edge that trickles to square leg. That should be the last ball of the 19th. So 112 for 7 after 19. But the intensity that we saw earlier on this morning, and certainly in the first half of this match, seems to be ebbing out of this match so far.
Absolutely, and I'm just stunned to see that, because I thought this one was going to be a cracker of a contest, because the TCC Kings coming into this one had a great opportunity to try and make a statement, win and make an effort to qualify for the finals, but some batting order which probably are questionable. Again, every team has their own reasons of choices, and some very poor running between the wickets, and batting display has put themselves to just 112 with just 1 over to go.
112, I would think this is very much an undercooked total, and there's another wicket that goes down as a huge swipe across the line, aiming for cow corner Nilantan, and ending up with his off stump removed. So yet another wicket falls, and we are sputtering towards the close of this innings, 112 for 8.
Yeah, the lack of celebration from the team fielding says it all. That tells you how they feel about the contest right now. It just looks and appears to be totally one-sided at this moment. But I don't want to say anything because of what I saw in the morning. Yeah, Suvir Guripati, just the lone scorer for the TCC Kings. Still at the crease with 5 balls to go, but he's off strike. That's probably what he's saying. His partner who's walking in, get me a single, put me on the batting end, and I will try to score a couple of boundaries. Hopefully he said that.
Well, at minimum, you'd think he'd want to get to his 50 as just reward for having been out there and playing his lone warrior hand for as long as he has. It almost feels like a different match that we were watching. But remember that Matthew Trump and Tanafwasi both opened this innings. And it felt at the time that they were both going strong, that we're looking at a pretty impressive total on the cards. This now feels like a completely different match.
Yeah, so it all goes down to the brilliant catch by Darshan Haribabu of Matthew Trump. That was one of the best catches I've ever seen at this level. Diving at backward of point, 2 hands and grabbing that, and knowing that Trump is one of their match winners. He single-handedly defeated the KATY Raiders the previous engagement. Oh, that's spinning away. Luckily, he didn't lose his balance. Pranav Chettipalam gathering it cleanly, flicking the bails off, but nothing affected.
Well, he does have 3 deliveries remaining to get to his 50. It will feel like maybe a Pyrrhic victory, but you'd want to see him get to that number at least. Advancing down the wicket, and that's, I think, exactly what he was thinking. Unfortunately for him, Sean Jindal has a beautiful delivery that curves or turns away from the right-handers, and he ended up walking right past one. Make that 113 for 9.
Yeah, the last batter comes in, and it is the junior Ramesh, by the look of it. Yeah, I mean, we hear of a lot of rotations and stuff. I saw Mayank opening the batting against this team last week, and in this game he's batting at number 10, and that's a huge rotation. You tend to see batters being rotated within their roles.
Yep.
You have top orders, middle orders. You're rotated within the roles, but this and he did play well in that game too. He scored a handful of runs. 2 deliveries to go. Ramesh hits
Right,
that.
love to see that. Get off the mark, young man. That's what I like to see. So he can tell the world that he, number 1, got off the mark, and number 2, there is no way to calculate his average because he will not be out. At least he wouldn't think of this last ball.
And if anything, I think this is just warm up for his under 13 HYPL that is coming up rather soon.
There it is.
A wide declared by the umpire. It did bounce twice. And it's not the first time it's happened in this innings, but so last ball of the innings coming up. The new batter, Mayank, moves across, swings, and is going to run with his head down as much as possible, however far he could. But he gets only 2 runs. So that does finish things off for the TCC Kings at the end of over number 20. TCC Kings at 117. The highest scorer was Suvir Guripati getting out in the last over after having scored 45 runs. Some good display of batting at the top of the order by Tanafwasi, scoring 30 of 28. I think his wicket was very critical, losing the grip of the bat, and was a little bit of a funny dismissal, and he was just kicking himself as he walked out of the field, and then nothing much to say on the batting effort. And as far as bowling is concerned,
well, just looking at the bowling, for me, Sean Jindal is the bowler who, even though he was a little expensive, 2 wickets, 4 overs, 2 for 29. The others were thereabouts. Ryan Bagani, I think, bowled well, had the big wicket of Matthew Trump, and after that, things sort of fell apart. In terms of economy rate, Aditya Ayapan, I think, bowled very well. 3 overs, none for 9, and bowled executed his Yorkers very effectively. And Arya Kanantha, the captain, coming in, chipping in with 1 wicket towards the end.
Yeah, 6 wickets between the bowlers, a bunch of runouts, and a batsman retired out. Eventually, the summary of the situation is that the KT Riders will need 118 runs to win this game and power their way into the finals of this beautiful edition of HYPL, the spring of 2023. When we come back, we'll be live with their chase.
What's happening tonight?
Nothing tonight. We just thinking we will do the man of the match trophies
Okay.
for the league games.
Sure,
right?
sure. For the league games.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can just have a quick word with all the.
Okay, so then maybe then.
That way tomorrow. That's way that tomorrow the number of awards are less for you,
Actually,
so
that's
you can
very
pack
good.
up. Yeah, you can.
Very well.
Yeah, you can pack up and drive back home early. Okay, we are on the other side of the innings break here at the Moosa Stadium for 2023 Turmeric Houston Youth Premier League Spring Super Edition Season 5, the game between TCC Kings and KATY Raiders. TCC Kings have set a target of 118 for KATY Raiders to chase, while the batters walk into the crease. A quick update on the game that's happening on the other ground, Balkis, between Skywalkers and Challengers. What looked as though it's going to end up being probably a 120 run chase. Now, Rishi Ramesh has taken it up on himself and he's going big guns, blazing all over the place, scoring an unbeaten 84 of 53 deliveries with the help of 9 boundaries and 3 sixers. The score right now, with 2 more deliveries left, is 146 for the loss of 7 wickets. With him is Joy Jadhav, also playing an equally important innings, a valuable 22 from 10 deliveries. It's been the last few overs has been very expensive for the challengers. They had over number 18 going for 16 runs of Rithinge, 3 boundaries of that over. Over number 19 going for 18 runs with 2 fours and a 6. And over number 20 being bowled by Pranav Batad. So far has gone for 13 runs. And still 2 more deliveries left in that over. Can Texas Skywalkers round it off to 150? Let's wait and see. Waiting for the scorers to get ready. The chase starting off right away. Captain Matthew Trump taking the new ball in his hand, bowling from the pavilion end, delivering a low full toss in that instant.
Matthew Trump with the new ball in his hand. Somebody who is an all-rounder, playing as an all-rounder. When he fails in one discipline, that generally energizes you in the other discipline. Oh, this one goes down the leg side. There is the best commentator's curse that you can ever hope to hear. Literally, as soon as I say something good about Matthew Trump, one goes down the leg side for 5 wides.
Goes back to the discipline that the bowler has when bowling between the right-hander and the left-hander. This time he was bowling into the left-hander, trying to aim to his pads, missing it by a few inches, and giving away 4 runs to the total.
So, 2 relatively aggressive batters at the crease. Ryan Bagani, the non-striker, and currently on strike, the left-hander Pranav Chettipalayam. If it is pitched up, I expect each of them to go for the big drive. So you don't necessarily want to have anything too full. And looking at where the field is set, the 2 fielders outside the circle, oh my goodness, this sprayed down the leg side again. In fact, wide of off, and it goes. Did it go for 4? So it did go all the way to the boundary. So consecutive 5 wides bowled by Matthew Trump. So an expensive start to the day for him.
Yeah, that's definitely shows the keeper was probably not in a position. also gives me an impression that they are trying out a part-time keeper at this stage. That should have been definitely blocked it for a regular keeper.
On the leg side again.
Once again, down the leg side, umpire probably signaling a wide, or is yes, he is signaling a wide there. Wide +1.
Wow, so 12 runs from the over already. I said earlier that this felt like a practice match. Well, it feels almost as though the TCC Kings have decided to give players opportunities that did not exist before. In other words, putting people in positions almost like you're treating this like a training session, because they probably, I think, have decided that they're not going to win this match. At least that's the way it feels to me. And then they're putting people in positions to sort of be experimental. And I'm not sure that that's what you expected when this match started, but it certainly seems like that's what they're doing.
Definitely. I mean, TCC Kings coming into this game had a fair chance to make it to the finals. They probably did not apply themselves so far well. The keeper, Nithilan Karthik, he's actually a keeper batter, but he's probably, I guess, his first tournament playing at this level with the best of talent from across the country. The intensity of the pace that's coming in is something really too hard for him to handle, is what I feel. It's also interesting to see how Tanaf Vasi, who was the keeper for this team, the main keeper for this team, is not keeping. It gives me again the same impression that you have. They're trying to. Wow, that was a big swing of the bat, taking the outside edge, one bounce, and going all the way to the boundary.
Well, I mentioned that both of these batters, if it's pitched up, they will go after it. And Matthew Trump from around the wicket, pitching too full to the left-handed Pranav Chetipalliam, and he just easily goes over the top of cover. For me, I think a better angle to him as a left-hander would be over the wicket, slanting the ball across him. He actually sliced that one from around the wicket. So over the wicket, I think that takes the edge, and that brings backward point into play, potentially brings the keeper into play. Another wide. My goodness, this is not going to be the type of over that Matthew Trump will dream about.
Matthew, for some reason, he's not really happy with the decision of the umpire calling it a wide. I don't know if we can see a replay of that.
Well, in speaking to Matt's father, Brett, this morning, Brett rather, suggesting that Matt is not feeling well. He's a little bit under the weather. Short delivery, and it gets through the keeper. That's going to be a bye that really should not have been a bye. Well, in fairness, it bounced right before it got to the keeper himself. So even though the shot was missed, looking for the pull and not able to make contact with it, but the keeper not collecting it cleanly, and they run through for a bye. So, one of those things where you sort of have the start to the innings that almost dictates the outcome. It feels already like the match is over. And boy, look at that.
Interesting. It
was a no ball. Oh, I am sorry. I missed that.
We were thinking all along it's a wide, but looks like it's a no ball. And the free hit was signaled by the umpire.
Wow. Slower delivery. Crashed into the offside. Deep extra cover for just a single. So very expensive over on the way here for Matthew Trump.
Looked like he had been bowling for a while, and then he still has 2 more deliveries to complete his first over of this innings.
21 runs in all coming from this over so far from the first 4 balls, if you can believe that. So just another 97 runs needed for victory by the KATY Raiders. Matthew Trump in again, short delivery. That one didn't get up very high. You see him bend his back, put the effort in tried to get that ball up around the shoulder blades, but it only ended up bouncing just thigh height. So this pitch does not appear to be the kind of pitch that you run in, bend your back, and get something out of it. It really is the proverbial batting wicket. Fast bowlers, this is the kind of pitch where fast bowlers go to die, if you will. And Matt Trump, just one ball remaining, 21 runs already conceded from the over, and up that 21, just 7 coming from the bat. So 14 extras in 1 over. And this is played into the short mid-wicket area. They get a single. A very expensive first over comes to the end. Scores 22 without loss.
Yeah, not just from Matthew Trump, but by any standards, that's definitely a very expensive first over for any team. The ball kind of drifting down the leg, making it easier for the left-hander to just tap it down for a single. That probably brings in Suvir Kadipatti, who actually performed pretty well with his bat in the first innings, to come in and start bowling from the Pearland end.
So Suvir Kadipatti from the Pearland end. Looks like he'll be bowling around the wicket to the left-handed Pranav Chettipalayam. Nope, check that. He's bowling over the wicket. So just for a split second, I saw him putting his mark down. Thought he was on the other side of the stumps, but it ends up keeping that over the wicket angle, which I think, I've said 100 times, is a better angle to bowl to a left-hander. We left-handers love playing through the onside, and that ball from around the wicket actually helps us play on the onside. Now this goes down the leg side, and I'll tell you what, that is a good stop. That ball may have hit him on the knee, unfortunately, and yeah, that does seem like that's what happened. Very slow to get up, but he did save 4 runs for his side.
He seemed to have got it pretty hard on his knee now. We see the keeper limping there. He might need somebody to step in. Maybe the regular keeper to come in and take the gloves from him.
Oh, moving very gingerly. That never feels good for anyone who has never been hit in the knee with a cricket ball, particularly when it misses your pad. It does absolutely not feel good. There he goes again, over the top of cover. 1-2 bounces and goes away for 4.
Yeah, both the batter not really showing any sense of pressure at this stage. Just relax, playing their regular shots, and I guess they probably want to wrap this game off pretty soon. That the way it looks like, especially the shots coming off of Pranav Chettipalayam's bat. He has been the more active of the two in the middle right now.
Chettipalayam, as we can see from the picture here, batting off of a leg stump guard. And from that angle, the right-hander is going to want to get that ball outside off and is going to want to keep it short of driving length, because anything that is too full, Chettipalayam is a type of batter who will elevate that ball over the offside. Plays very well in that arc, almost like the anti-left-hander, where he likes playing on the offside. Bang! But straight one hop to that fielder at mid-off. He does appear, just based on his body language, like he wants to get this game over with. And right now they only need another 91 runs in the next 111 balls. So the equation is more than in favor of the KATY Raiders. Oh, just a split second there. Looks like he wanted to advance down the wicket. Ends up changing his mind and just defensively pushing it. But umpires signaling to each other now. 2 balls remaining. 2 balls remaining here in the second over. Already an expensive start. mostly due to extras. So far, some 16 extras out of 27 runs. You don't see that happen very often.
A little bit on the throw as well. The throw was little wayward. Was going.
Oh,
Oh, that was
what a shot.
hit firmly struck by the left-handed Pranav Chettipalayam. No fielder out there because of the field restrictions of the power play. Going behind point, or sorry, behind square leg. No fielder there. Ball racing away to the boundary.
Well, the two fielders outside, one is at long on and the other is sweeping on the offside. So at minimum, your line needs to be off stump, preferably outside off. So going that straight, and again, this one goes down the leg side, is going to be 5 wides.
More.
When you're bowling that straight to such a field, you're going to end up sacrificing plenty of runs, whether they're via the wide route, in this case 5 wides, or whether they are going to be flicked away behind square on the leg side. This essentially is a recipe for disaster if you continue bowling that line and length.
Yeah, right now the KATY Raiders have extras as their highest scorer at 20, and Pranav Chettipalayam comes in as the next highest scorer with 14 at this point.
Well, it's not just that it's their highest score, it's almost 60% of their runs. Around the wicket to the lefty. Look at that shot in the air. Long off, running back. He cannot get there in time. He finishes with a flourish, Chettipalayam, and that is Palayam, sorry. And that is 18 runs coming from that over to match 22 from the first over. So 2 overs in, 40 runs are on the board. And this feels like it has a pretty predictable finish ahead of us.
Yes, that was a very elegantly hit shot from Pranav Chettipalayam. I would say more from a textbook shot, playing that straight over the bowler's head for that boundary, holding his head steady, bat going pretty straight over the to get the ball over the bowler's head. Looked very, very impressive on the way that he connected the ball.
So Matthew Trump, to continue, he'll be looking to have a better over than the first one that he had. Boy, look at that. The run rate for the innings so far is 20. You don't see a 20 run rate maintained for any length of time, much less over 2 overs. Good delivery, bang on the stumps, and a quick shy at the non-striker's end. Had that hit, it would have been out.
That was a
pickup, a clean pickup and a quick throw, and Ryan Bagani almost dismissed there.
Was very, very close. I would rather quote what Brian said the other day. If there was an extra coat of varnish on the stumps, it would have knocked off the bails.
You remember that?
I do. Unfortunately, I have a strong memory sometimes on some instances.
Sure. Wow, but a more conventional start to the over this time for Matthew Trump. The ball just punched into the offside. Very, very easily could have been a run out. You could argue probably should have been a run out. Now bowling around the wicket to Chettipalayam. Slower delivery, that's a good change. Chettipalayam looking to go big almost every time, particularly if the ball is full. Matthew Trump equal to the task, taking the pace off of that delivery. And the ball sailing past the attempted cut.
The only approach that Kings can take at this stage of the game, if they want to fancy a win, is not only getting the dot balls, it's also about getting some really quick breakthroughs in the game in the form of wickets. They can get, but keep in mind, KATY Raiders are packed with a lot of batters that can bat pretty deep in their batting lineup.
It's a no ball.
No ball again.
Missed it. I missed that the first time. It is a no ball, and unfortunately for Matthew Trump, his woes continue. I started saying earlier that his father Brett was saying that he was not feeling well today. He had a fever. So maybe some of what you see going on right now is just the result of him just not having a good day overall, meaning that from a physical standpoint, he's struggling.
Yeah.
But kudos to him as captain for trying to hold his hand up and continue. But as of right now, that is such a great
What a delivery that was.
Oh.
Amazing delivery. This time steaming in, but then deceiving the batter by delivering a slow Yorker. The batter,
Ryan Bagana defeated all ends up playing over it. In fact, stepping over it.
for
Free
some
hit,
reason
free hit.
Okay. Wow. He completely was surprised by the lack of pace on that delivery. Was an excellent delivery for Matthew Traum. Unfortunately, that was ball off a free hit.
Well, it goes to the well once too often. A slower delivery, a loopy full toss down the leg side, and taken full toll off here by Ryan Bagani. No, no ball. It's been one of those days so far in the commentator's booth, but at the end of this last session of play, just 2 balls remaining here in the third. 47 runs already on the board. Matthew Trump steaming in. The required rate now just down to 4. This is struck firmly, but there's coverage out there in the deep. Just a single.
Scores racing towards the 50 run mark. Just 2 short of 50 runs. Matthew contributing 30 out of that. Definitely shows that Matt has not been in the prime of his health today. He's doing the best that he can, given the limitations he has in terms of his health.
So 1 ball remaining here in the third. See where the field is. There's a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square leg. Tells me the line is going to be more on leg side and short. And he pulls this into the gap. This is going to run away for 4. That, in all likelihood, might have been the best of all the shots that Pranav Chettipalayam has played. Swivel pull, keeping it down, intentionally keeping it down, and then piercing the gap between those 2 fielders out there on the leg side. That ball races away for 4, so 3 overs in. The 50 is already on the board, and just 6 runs remaining for victory.
Okay. My win predictor says they're probably going to overall this target in by the 10th over.
So your win predictor has other capabilities compared to the win predictors that I know about. The only ones I know about have percentages attached to them. But if you ask me what the percentage is, and we played this game this morning with me and Ishan, I would say that there is an 87% chance that the KATY Raiders will win this game. And it feels like 87 is too conservative because as of this stage, the TCC Kings appear to be going through the motions, and things have not started out well for them from the standpoint of extras.
Yeah, to me it looks like more on the 90s than the.
Okay, so then maybe a more appropriate game to play would be the number of overs in which, or the number over in which this match is finished. This is going to be the first delivery of the 4th is outside off.
Yeah, Mayank Sirigiri bowling from the Pearland end.
So change in bowling.
Interesting
Mayank,
move.
I may have to help you, or I may have to have you help me with the pronunciation of his last name.
Sirigiri.
Sirigiri. Okay,
Yeah.
that's easy. It's pretty straightforward.
It's pretty easy. Yeah, he seemed to be pretty tall and well built, and no surprises that he's a fast bowler.
Yep. This one outside off, wave and a miss by Bagani for no
Two good
run.
deliveries. Two good deliveries, just outside off stump. Batter missing in both the instances.
11th over is what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's my take. Probably the 11th over.
But look, this might be the time of the tournament where you just put your hands up and be counted if you're one of the batters or bowlers who's not been working all along. But my goodness, look at this strike by Ryan Bagani going up and over the top of mid-off. That ball lands maybe 5 yards beyond the boundary rope at deep long off for the first 6 of the innings.
Yeah, and it looks like the ball went missing as well. The fielders at the mid long off region going behind or going outside of the boundary to find out where the ball rolled out.
Wow. Okay, we've seen some good stroke play all day. That, for me, may be the shot of the day. Inside out, over the offside. Anybody can hit the cow corner. It takes a special batter to be able to hit in that direction. A right-hander elevating over the top. I said long off. It's more extra cover, a little bit wider than long off. And that is a beautiful, beautiful looking strike by Ryan Bagani.
Absolutely. I think the first two deliveries he was trying this for the same and could not make connections. Finally, the third time proved to be a charm.
Mm-hmm. And how about a word for the pitch, by the way? So the pitch has held up a lot better today than it did last week. Obviously, we're into the 4th innings on this pitch, and it degraded a fair amount last week. But so far right now, I think it has gotten to the point where it is... In fact, a little bit of a delay because of the ball being lost and a lot of scrambling around in the background right now as we might be searching for a new ball. For those of you unfamiliar with the rules of cricket, if there is a ball that is hit out of the field of play, every effort has to be made to retrieve that ball. But if it, for whatever reason, is impractical or unlikely that that ball is retrieved, then a replacement ball can be used, but the replacement ball has to be similar in terms of condition and degree of wear as the ball that was lost. So sometimes you can have a bit of a delay. And in fact, I'm looking at those fielders running back from that direction where they were looking for the ball. They may have retrieved it. And in fact, yes, they did retrieve it. Now the umpires are looking to make sure that that ball is still in appropriate condition. So not only is it the fact that if the ball is lost, you have to replace it with one very similar in terms of condition from the one that was lost. But if you somehow manage to get that ball back, let's say it went all the way over in that area and lands in some water, well, you can't use a waterlogged ball. So in that circumstance, you'd have to have it replaced. But the umpire is just wanting to check and make sure that it's in a condition that will allow them to continue playing. I think they're pretty satisfied that that's the case. And so we will continue after a little bit of a delay. This is Mayank Sirigiri looking again. Big over the offside is Ryan Bagani. Well, he's made his mind up apparently to make this a very short match. And just 2 balls remaining here in the 4th. I guarantee you if it's anywhere close to his arc, Bagani is going to be going for the big hit. And so the field still inside the power play. There's a fielder down at long on and another one square. And this is lofted. Long on, I just mentioned, coming around, jumps, but it goes over his head. He may have misjudged that. And I think had he been running closer to the rope, he came in just a little too far. And no signal yet from the umpire, but I think that might have gone for no. In fact, it was only a 4, so he definitely misjudged it because he ended up coming too far and then jumping. Had he been back where he could have been, maybe another yard or two, he very well could have caught that. So Bagani facing up to the last ball, big swipe and a miss, and a weird looking sort of over. 3 dot balls, a 6, in fact 4 dot balls, a 6 and a 4, and a 5-minute delay for a ball that was eventually found. So very eventful over. 10 runs coming from it. At the end of 4, the score is 62 without loss. Make that 60 without loss. My apologies.
There was a 6 and there was 2.
So that one down on the boundary wasn't a 4 just now?
Yeah, it is 2. Bringing in Ritvik Ramesh here from the pavilion end. Interesting move there again by TCC Kings, but credit to Ritvik. He has been bowling with a big heart every time, and he's been very economical so far.
Oh, that one did not bounce at all. And Pranav Chettipalayam doing well to get the bat down in time. Ritvik Ramesh, we spoke about him last week. He's not bowling well for a youngster. He's bowling well, period. And he's generally bowling the ball in the right areas, teasing with the right amount of flight. If he makes a mistake to either Ryan Bagani or, in this case, Pranav Chettipalayam, you expect that he'll be hit. But he's doing very well to keep the ball in the right areas. And I think that's noteworthy. Amid all the carnage, if you have a youngster like him who can come up and drop the ball in just the right areas, just short of driving length and on an off-stump line, if he's able to do that, his cricketing career will last for a very long time.
You can see those 2 deliveries, first 2 deliveries, just make it 3 deliveries. All that the batter can do is block the delivery from losing his wicket and then pushing it directly into the hands of short extra cover, I would say. Nothing much that the batter can do. There is not much room being given. Finally, the batter gets to free his arms, get a single by tapping the ball on the leg side. So that definitely speaks volumes of the ability of the young Ritvik Ramesh to bowl a very, very disciplined line and length, not letting the batter take the better of him.
So facing up now to Ryan Bagani. Bagani is a right-handed power hitter, and Ritvik Ramesh is an off-spinner. So I would say that they'd probably need more coverage or protection in the deep on the leg side, and right now this man is dropping back towards cow corner. Good line. Keep that ball out there, out of his hitting zone, and I think that you'll do very well. So another single. So just 2 singles conceded so far by Ritvik Ramesh, and 1 ball remaining here in the 5th, his first.
Yeah, one of the things that plays to his advantage is his height, and then the ball is actually not gaining some bounce there. That goes over the top. Is there a fielder, or did they bring the fielder in from the deep, and that goes over the top? Pranav Chettipalayam getting yet another boundary, finishing off the over with the boundary. And the scores are now at 66 for no loss in 5 overs.
He finishes the over with a boundary, but note that that is the over in which there's been the lowest number of runs scored this entire innings.
And no extras.
And no extras.
Exactly. Yeah.
So kudos to that young man. 6 overs or 6 runs coming from his over. The score is 66. 5 overs done. I don't think that we'll need the remaining 15 overs that we have left.
Okay, that's probably Mayank Sirigiri continuing from the Pearland end. Quick update on the game that's happening in Balkis between Skywalkers and Challengers. Challengers are off to a flying start at this point, scoring 35 for no loss. In their 4th over, Joshua Trump, 22 of 15, Rith, 8 of 7. They're chasing a target, if you remember, of 148. They still need about 113 at this stage from the remaining 16 overs.
So good start to the over for Mayank Sirigiri. Bowling to Ryan Bagani. Bagani 17 from 14. And Pranav Chetipalian 28 from 19. Most of the damage thus far done by extras with 22. Bang! Over the top, extra cover again. And this may have gone. In fact, it just landed inside the rope for another 4 for Ryan Bagani. So just another 48 runs needed. Ryan Bagani now moving up to 21 from 15.
Has been a little silent comparatively when you see the way Pranav Chetipalem was hitting. But whenever I say that, immediately he proves me wrong. And he is once again proving me wrong with 2 back-to-back boundaries.
Well, look, we're now down to 44 runs needed. Ryan Bagani moving up now to 29. Make that 25 from 16. Pranav Chetipalem, 28 from 19. Coming in hot on the heels of both opening batters is extras, 22 of them. 30% of the runs in the innings so far have been scored via extras. But most of the batting now is coming from the bats of these two. Smashed straight, and it's going to be cut off by long off. So a single, a very long single.
Yeah, the last 2 deliveries, they had the long off in the 40-yard position, I would say, and are even close to 30 yards, not exactly 30 yards. But now seeing that he hit 2 boundaries, consecutive boundaries in the same direction, they put the fielder in the long off region, actually, and that basically helped cut down a couple of runs.
So Mayank Sirigiri now bowling around the wicket to the left-handed Pranav Chetipalem. Oh, what happened here?
Remains to be seen if Pranav Chetipalem is going to join the party and feast on this, or is he going to more do a rotation kind of approach at this stage?
He doesn't strike me as a rotate the strike kind of guy. One other thing to point out also, Mayank Sirigiri is going to want to not run right down the pitch the way he just did after pulling out of his run-up. Full toss, lofted. It's going to be a no ball. In fact, it has been signaled as a no ball, and it's going to be another free hit. Immediately signaling there at square leg, umpire Altaf Mahisania. So they get a single, and this next delivery will be a free hit.
Yeah, let's see how Ryan Bagani makes use of this free hit. We've seen in this game particularly that free hit were not used to full effect, especially in the first innings. Several of the free hits were just taken for a single. So it'll be interesting to see what ploy the bowler deploys here. He wants to use a slow Yorker, or he wants to use a bouncer. Definitely a bouncer is not going to work with Ryan Bagani. He's good at pulling the ball. So it'll be interesting to see what the bowler is going to do.
Yorker, gotta be. That's exactly what he tried to
Yeah,
do.
he got an
A
inside
moral victory. Probably the best ball that he's bowled, but it's squeezed off the outside edge and runs away to third man for 4. So you do exactly what you're looking to do in that instance if you are Mayank Sirigiri, and he gets the Yorker almost perfectly, but it runs away off the outside edge down to third man for 4. So runs coming thick and fast. And just another 37 runs needed now for victory for the KATY Raiders. This is stroked down the ground for a single. And yet another expensive over comes to an end. Let's see, 16 runs coming from the over. Mayank Sirigiri, 2 overs for 24. The required rate down to 2.57. The score is 82 and just another 36 needed. Hrithik Ramesh with the ball in his hand again. You can certainly make the argument that he's been the best bowler on offer so far. He's bowling to 2 batters who want to get this game over with as soon as possible, it looks like. Now bowling to right-handed Ryan Bagani. Lofted in the air towards deep extra cover and goes all the way for 4. So there's some protection out there. There's a sweeper at deep cover and a regulation long off. But that ball pierced those 2 fielders, or pierced the gap represented by those 2 fielders. And yet another boundary to start the 7th over. Earlier I said that I thought this match would be ending in the 11th over. We may not go that long. Powered down the ground for 4 more. This is a good-looking strike. The young man is being treated a little bit more rudely in this over than in his first. And even though he is bowling the right lengths that he needs to bowl, it's going to be very difficult to contain both Ryan Bagani and Pranav Chettipalayam. Ryan Bagani now 39 from 21. Chettipalayam 29 from 20.
2
And
consecutive
here's his
boundaries.
next deliver, lofted down the ground for 6. That is a huge hit over the top of that fielder at long on. And this game is going to be over with in the next several balls if Ryan Bagani has anything to do with it.
Okay, quick update on the other ground. There were some celebrations happening, and we figured out they got Joshua Trump run out for 31 and putting brakes on challengers' run chase. Score is 53 for the loss of 1 wicket.
This is better. A little flatter through the air and played down the ground for a single.
Ryan Bagani racing towards just 4 runs short of his 50-run mark. He definitely seemed like he was a man in a hurry. His last 4 deliveries gave him 15 runs.
In the air, catchable.
Is there anybody there? I don't think so. It's going to be landing in the no man's land. Batters running for a comfortable 2 runs from that shot. adding more insult to injury with that over. 17 runs, one more delivery left of that over.
So Ritvik Ramesh. Next ball lofted, just helped down the ground. That's going to land safely in front of Long On. And yet another expensive over comes to an end. 18 coming from it. The last 5 overs have gone for 60 runs. And overall, the rate is 14.29, if you can believe it. The power play ended an over ago. So 7 overs, and they're at 100 runs. Tremendous ball striking by these two. Helped with some extras. And just another 18 runs needed for victory.
That brings up the 100 mark for the KATY Raiders without the loss of any wickets. Ryan at 46, Pranav Chittipalem at 32, both going pretty solid. Quick look at the game that's happening at Balkis. Skywalker's first batted and put a total of 147, setting a target of 148 for the challengers to chase. Challengers at the end of 5 overs are 55 for the loss of 1 wicket. A very important wicket. Joshua Trump, who's going big guns, 31 of 19 deliveries. It's anybody's game at this stage. The asking rate is over 6 runs, and in the middle is Rith Hinge and Aaron Nadkarni.
In the meantime, a new bowler operating from the Pearland end. It will be Aman Kotari. Kotari, right-handed slow bowler, bowling 2. Bowling to Pranav Chittipalem. Chittipalem 32 from 22. And the non-striker, Ryan Bagani, is 1 stroke away from what would be a really aggressive 50. Full driven in the air. I'll tell you what, that is a good pickup. That ball landed just in front of that fielder. In fact, that's Ritvik Ramesh himself, and he might have been hurt there. That ball looks to have struck him somewhere around the abdomen, but he did well to keep that ball from getting by him and only conceding a single. Now he drops back onto the boundary as that brings Ryan Bagani back on strike.
Was there a catch on that delivery?
Stroked down the ground for a single. Oh, fumbles it. Now they're coming. No, not going to come back for the second. I think that may have just landed short. It landed short of Ritvik Ramesh. It's one of those, like in baseball, they say a short hop. It was a short hop that he couldn't quite get to in terms of being able to catch it, but he put his body in the way so that the ball wouldn't get by him, which I think was a good work on his part.
Aman coming in again. Here this time, Pranav going over the top on his offside, helping himself with a boundary.
Just 2 strokes away from victory here. 2 sixes from Pranav Chittipalem would do it, but I think he would have to give some consideration to getting Ryan Bagani back on strike so he could get to his 50. That's going to be a single down to wide, long off. Make that deep extra cover. And I would think that somebody would have sent the message out to Ryan Bagani, if he doesn't already know, that in theory he's just 1 stroke away from what would be a really well-played 50. 107 without loss. The KATY Raiders are making short work of this run chase. Off the back foot, powering it down the ground, but it doesn't go all the way. It didn't time it very well.
Ryan not making a good connection in that occasion. Interestingly, Ryan also happens to be the highest run getter at this point in time, at an astonishing 303 runs from the
Oh, wow.
six innings. He hasn't completed yet, though. And Rit Hinge coming second in the list with 242 runs. Pranav
Over
Chittipaliyam
extra
going
cover.
over extra cover.
That goes all the way. Did it go for 6? Nope, just 4. And look at that. That 4 ends the 8th over. 12 coming from it. The score is 112. So you're now only 6 runs away from victory. And Ryan Bagan is still only 2 runs away from his 50. So you would think that he wouldn't mind ending things and reaching a milestone with 1 stroke. A 6 hit here would end the match and give him his 50 all at the same time.
Or let Pranav get a single, and then give Ryan the strike.
Well, Ryan himself is on
Oh,
strike.
is he? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I think
So-
scorecard is not updated yet.
Right. So it would just be a matter. This is going to be Aman Kotari again.
Yes, looks like it's Aman
And
Kotari.
he's bowling.
I
two.
feel he's going to go for a boundary this time.
Down the
On
ground.
the ground, is he going to get just a single
He
there?
Gets a single. Interesting.
Oh, that gets Ryan off strike. He's now starting to count the number of fielders in the outfield to see if there are more fielders in the outfield that he can claim with the umpire for a no ball.
5 runs remaining for victory. I think the only mystique or intrigue left in this match is whether or not Ryan Bagani can get back on strike before the next 5 runs are scored.
Yeah, that was very, very sensible of Pranav Chittipaliyam to tap the ball and switch positions with
Mhm.
Ryan Bagani, bringing him back on strike for that well-made 50 runs.
So all bets are off here. I think he throws a kitchen sink at this next ball. Bang! There it
He
goes.
big, really big, really big. Is this going to cross the boundary line? Yes, it is. With that 6, Ryan Bagani finishes off, gets a very, very handy 50, and also gets his team home, finishing off, winning by 10 wickets and sealing their place in the finals of the Season 5 2023 Houston Youth Premier League Spring Super Edition, sponsored by Turmeric Indian Cuisine Bar.
So pretty straightforward chase in the end. Ryan Bagani and Pranav Chittipaliyam, just both of them taking care of the small matter of 118 runs and doing it inside of 9 overs. KATY Raiders winning that by 10 wickets. Ryan Bagani 55, Pranav Chittipaliyam 43, and just a pretty straightforward chase in the end. So I think that concludes things here. Just a quick recap. Tanaf Wasi 30 and Suvir Gutipati were the only two, at 45 were the only 2 who scored anything of note. And that contributed to 117 for 9. And then coming in at the end, Ryan Bagani and Pranav Chittipaliyam doing what they did to make this a pretty one-sided chase. So that is the end. Back over to you here, Mr.
So the result, KATY Raiders winning by 10 wickets, means that they have confirmed their position in the finals that will be played tomorrow here at the Moosa Cricket Stadium, one of the iconic cricket stadium here in the U.S. As Brian Walters mentioned earlier today, one of the 2 officially certified international venues by ICC. This ground has really kept up to its reputation of being a very well balanced, I would say, well balanced contest between the ball and the bat. The game on the other ground right now between Skywalkers and Challengers. Challengers chasing 148, 68 for a loss of 1 wicket. They still need 80 runs to be scored in the remaining 13 overs.